What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gamescast now, episode 100, topic 1. I'm Alex. This is our conversational gaming show, a show that airs every other week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and this is our 100th episode. So very, very happy that we managed to get to this mark. This is a show that I truly, truly enjoy making every single time. I have some of the most fun recording these videos out of all the videos I record. And I asked you guys some topics that I wanted to try and do for this episode. Now, I already recorded previously my topic 3 of the what makes this game amazing, so I already got that. Now, for this, I want to thank Bat Freak Rules, and I'm going to kind of do like a spin-off of what his comment was. I was thinking, okay, I don't think people would necessarily watch if I just said what are my favorite games to play. So I wanted to do a slight spin on it. He did say PS4, so again, I want to take that and kind of morph it. I want to talk about my favorite, but I'll probably just highlight like the best PS4 exclusives of that have come out. And PS4 has been quite the console. Okay, it's sold so many millions of copies, obviously destroyed literally any competition it had with Microsoft, at least this console generation. Maybe it makes up in the next one, but it's truly done some amazing things, and it's had some very, very big exclusives. Now, you could argue, did the PS3 actually have the better, range of exclusives? Did it have the more like high-end quality? You could argue, but PS4 has had some just amazing, amazing games, and every year it really seems like Sony knocks it out of the park. So there's a lot to choose from. I'm going to go over just a couple. I'll start with my personal favorite. This is also my favorite game of all time in Uncharted 4. So I don't think if you guys have watched the channel for any length of time, I don't think this is any surprise to you. I do think Uncharted 4 is the best Uncharted. I think Uncharted 4 is the best PS4 exclusive. Uncharted's my personal favorite game. I don't think it's the greatest game ever made. I wouldn't say that. But those other two things, I would say. The game's just a masterpiece, and I know a lot of people would say that, this is when Naughty Dog maybe would start to take a little bit of a dip, but to me, I'd say a perfect ending to Nathan Drake's journey, exactly what I would imagine. I did think at the time maybe they would kill him off, but that just doesn't seem like the Uncharted way to go about it. But graphically, the game looked absolutely amazing. It still looks extremely, extremely good now. But when that game came out, I mean, it was ridiculous how much better it looked than anything else, honestly, that I've ever seen on a console. Any console, any genre of game. The game just absolutely blew it out of the water. And that's just the visuals, the gameplay, again, the actual story, taking what they learned from The Last of Us with those kind of in-game conversations you could have, being able to tell a story without just dialogue, without just kind of cutscenes, and not just having one story. Again, The Last of Us, I think one of the most famous things with The Last of Us is the story of Ish and that underground, kind of civilization he built that then ended up breaking. And you learn that entire thing through like a 2 hour, just by context clues and picking up like journal pieces. And that was one of the better ways of telling a story, I think, ever in games. I mean, that was a brilliant idea. And Uncharted 4 did the exact same thing, telling the story of like the city with these corrupted pirates that basically ended up all dying, right? But they all went, like the story of how they got there and what ended up happening to them, kind of not even told through cutscenes, mainly told through what you learn throughout the game, just picking things up. So I think they took the best of The Last of Us, they put it in their own universe. You can decide whether you like The Last of Us or Uncharted more or whatever, but I think just a perfect send-off in that way. And there's other games. I think, I haven't played this game enough. I'll say this. I haven't played this game enough to, I think, judge it or talk about it at length like I just did Uncharted. But Spider-Man obviously has meant so much to so many people, and you can't really discount what it's done. Selling the massive amounts of copies that it's done, and not just that, but setting the record for copies sold for like a superhero game, with the fact that the Arkham games had multiple consoles to work with, and Spider-Man just had one system, just being exclusive, and the game sold like crazy. The game is just a lot of fun. The game is absolutely beautiful. The game, while I've only played like 6-7 hours of the game is exactly the Spider-Man game that I think I personally want in my life. That's the Spider-Man game. For other people, it's absolutely been. I mean, you see so many people saying like this is the best superhero game ever made. This is better than all of the Arkham games, you'll have people say. So the game, maybe not even just for my own personal telling that I can say, the game does look amazing. The game's story is very, very solid. The fighting mechanics and just using all of his abilities are super cool. But beyond that, like what it's done, and now, Insomniac is owned by Sony. We'll see what happens just with games outside the Spider-Man universe. That's honestly what I'm looking forward to the most. Do we get Resistance remakes? Do we get Sunset Overdrive 2? Stuff like that. But obviously Spider-Man 2 is guaranteed, and I think that game will be just as special. There were other ones too. I think, a game like, for me, Detroit Become Human, which is a game that I don't really think a lot of people would talk about when they think of the big Sony exclusives. That game was very, very good. A Quantic Dream coming off of Beyond Two Souls really had a lot to prove with, like, okay, supermassive games with Until Dawn really out Quantic Dream. And it's like, you guys need to come back and you need to make a game that just works, that does have these branching storylines, and they did it. I mean, you look at after every level, they even show they're kind of like they kind of tease you, or in my opinion, they kind of like show you to your face, like, hey, you guys wanted branching storylines. Here's all the stuff that could have happened that you just didn't accomplish because you're not good enough. Now, obviously, it's a little bit of a joke. That's not what they mean. But you look at all the things that could have happened, or even just the thing maybe you actually did, but then there's like 5 other things that could have happened because of it that didn't actually happen to you. Something else happened to you. The game, definitely for what it was trying to do, did an extremely good job. Does it hold up with the other big games? Horizon Zero Dawn, very, very special. God of War, very, very special. It took me a very long time to beat God of War, but the game was exactly as advertised, pretty much a masterpiece. Obviously, if you went in there with the God of War 3 feeling, like you wanted those big, over-the-top boss fight kind of things, you didn't really get that. There wasn't a lot of that, although there were some really, really cool cinematic moments and blending the line between when you're playing and the cutscenes, which also is, again, something that Uncharted tried to start doing. And God of War, I think, has probably done it the best, also because it's just the newest. I think we'll see it from The Last of Us as well, and we already have from cutscenes, is the whole kind of like the cutscenes can literally look as good as the gameplay, and we're going to make it so that the cutscenes go directly in. Like, we'll spin the camera, and then all of a sudden you're taking control. And it's that seamlessness that I feel like we'll definitely get more of with the PS5, but we started to see it towards the end of this console generation, and God of War, I think, has realistically done it the best. And like I said, with Horizon, Horizon, I think, has stuck out to me the least out of all those games I just mentioned. I love it. I love the creativity. I love that it's just so different. I actually truly do love the game. It's just because, here's the real reason. Because it's an open world game, it just makes it so much harder for me to actually play, because then I want to do everything in it. I want to do all the side quests, but the game is like filled with life and filled with things to do, and I love crafting the different arrows. I love handling situations and being like, okay, how am I going to set the traps and then ultimately, for me at least, it just, everything fails and I'm ending up just running around in circles trying to shoot it like in the eye or whatever. That's normally what happens to me, but the idea that you can plan how you want to handle situations, and the story overall is pretty darn solid as well. Guerrilla Games did a phenomenal job, coming from Killzone and then doing something just so different, fundamentally different with Horizon. You got to give them props. So I'd say those are like a handful. Games that mean a whole lot more to me that are exclusive would be like games originally that were Resogun, I believe, is still exclusive, but a game like Nex Machina, also from Housemarque, that game I believe has also come to like PC. Games like that, I guess Detroit has come to PC as well, so I don't know if you can count that. But I'm a huge Housemarque fan. Resogun, for years into the PS4's life cycle, I had said is better than anything else on the system. And that's when Assassin's Creed games were out. That's when like actual AAA games were out. I would still have said Resogun was the best game. I think it's been surpassed by some other games, and I'm sure there are PS4 exclusives I just can't think of. I mean, we're about to get Death Stranding. Next year, we're going to get The Last of Us Part 2. We had Days Gone this past year, which was a solid game. I don't think anything to really include of like the best, list out there. But PS4 has had just some phenomenal, from every studio, every even third-party studios, they've just done phenomenal overall. We've really gotten such a great group of games these last 6-7 years. Has it been as much as the PS3? I actually think the PS3 kind of ventured out into different things, games like Puppeteer, and like even Heavy Rain, if you want to go back to Quantum Dream. But there's a lot of like obscure PS3 exclusives, or games that didn't make it to this generation, like say the Resistance franchise, Infamous. I mean, it did make it with Second Son, but did it really though? The infamous, kind of like tagline. So there were a lot with PS3. Some of them didn't even make it over to PS4. PlayStation All-Stars, Battle Royale. PlayStation has been just a phenomenal place. For exclusives, it's kind of always been that place. That's why I've always stuck with PlayStation. It just has, and it really is just so diverse. I've always thought that the diversity of their exclusives, there's really something, not just, I mean, if there wasn't something for everybody, you could just go to a multi-platform game, but if even just the exclusives, there's a game, I mean, you look at the past couple of years, Days Gone, Horizon, God of War, Spider-Man, Uncharted, there's literally something for everybody. I mean, all kind of with a focus of single player, but there's some open worlds there with Days Gone and Horizon and even Spider-Man. There's games that, kind of have the ability to venture off like God of War. Uncharted is a little bit more linear, but Uncharted has a multiplayer mode, so maybe if you're in for multiplayer, you'd get Uncharted. So they're all kind of for different people, and I think that's what makes PlayStation just so amazing. I know this is basically now a PlayStation video, but those are some of, in my opinion, the key or the best PS4 games that have come out. But guys, let me know in the comments below, what are some of the games that have stuck out to you? What games am I missing? Maybe more obscure games that are just PlayStation exclusive that I missed. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And again, this is episode 100. This is our Monday topic. We will be having topics on Wednesday and Saturday, and I hope to see you guys there.